There's something about an INFJ's intelligence that catches people off guard. It's not loud or showy. It doesn't fill the room with fast-talking facts or sharp arguments. But when an INFJ speaks, people listen. And often they're left speechless, not because the INFJ is trying to impress, but because what they say cuts straight to the heart of the moment. The INFJ personality is one of the rarest in the world. Quiet, observant, and deeply intuitive, INFJs spend much of their lives watching and understanding. Their intelligence is built slowly, from reflection, experience, and a lifelong hunger for meaning. What makes INFJs different is how they combine logic with empathy, insight with emotion, thought with instinct. They can understand both systems and souls. They don't just know things, they sense them, feel them, live them. This is why their intelligence can feel like a surprise. In a world that rewards fast answers and loud voices, INFJs move differently. They stay quiet longer. They think deeper. And when they finally speak, their words often stop people in their tracks. People don't expect that much clarity from someone so reserved. They don't expect someone so kind to also be that sharp. But that's the INFJ gift, the ability to combine warmth with wisdom, reflection with precision. In this video, we'll explore 6 reasons why the INFJ's intelligence is so striking. These aren't just personality quirks. They're strengths that make INFJs quietly powerful in ways that others may not notice at first, but never forget once they do. Let's begin with the first reason INFJ intelligence leaves people speechless. Reason number 1, seeing connections. Few notice INFJs are natural pattern seekers. It's part of how their minds are wired. While others focus on what's directly in front of them, INFJs often zoom out. They look at the bigger picture, the invisible links between people, ideas, and events. They don't just see the what, they see the why, the how, and even the what might come next. This makes them seem intuitive, like they know things they shouldn't be able to know. But really, it's their mind picking up on details and linking them in ways others miss. For example, in a conversation, an INFJ might notice a tiny shift in tone, a change in body language, or a pause in someone's story. To most people, it's nothing. To an INFJ, it's a signal, a thread, a clue. They follow these small pieces and connect them with past experiences, emotions, and meaning. Suddenly, they understand what's not being said, and even what might happen next. This ability shows up in their work too. Whether it's writing, teaching, therapy, design, or strategy, INFJs see patterns others overlook. They might predict market shifts, anticipate emotional reactions, or solve problems before they fully form. And when they explain their insight, people are often stunned. Not because it's flashy, but because it's so precise. They might say something like, "I think she's not actually upset about the deadline. She's scared of being seen as unreliable." Or, "This project is missing one piece, the emotional tone. That's why it doesn't connect." These insights aren't guesses. They're built from years of noticing. INFJs store emotional data the way others store facts. They learn through observation and apply that learning in quiet but powerful ways. This depth of thinking can leave people speechless because it feels unexpected. How did they know that? How did they put those pieces together? It's like they were watching a completely different version of the conversation, and yet it all makes sense. That's the INFJ brilliance. They don't need to see everything at once. They just need one thread, and from that, they can often unravel the entire pattern. This kind of intelligence doesn't shout. It whispers. But when it speaks, it reveals truths most people never even knew were hiding. Reason number 2, deep empathic understanding. INFJs are often called empaths, but their empathy is more than just feeling what others feel. It's a form of emotional intelligence that blends compassion with insight. They don't just notice emotions, they understand where those emotions come from. When someone talks to an INFJ, they often feel seen in a way they haven't felt before. Not because the INFJ is trying to impress, but because they're truly listening. INFJs pick up on things others overlook: tension behind a smile, hurt behind humor, fear hiding in anger. They don't just hear words, they sense the emotion underneath them. This emotional awareness allows INFJs to respond in ways that feel surprising. They may say something simple like, "It sounds like you're trying really hard not to fall apart," and it lands with force, because it's exactly what the other person was feeling but couldn't express. That's the kind of moment that leaves people speechless. It feels like the INFJ read their mind, but really, the INFJ just paid attention. Their understanding isn't always obvious. It might come as a quiet nod, a well-timed question, or a few words that reflect a deep truth. But the impact lasts. People leave conversations with INFJs feeling lighter, clearer, more understood. They might say, "I've never told anyone that before," or "I didn't even know I felt that way until I said it out loud." This isn't magic, it's presence. INFJs give their full attention. They set aside judgment. They tune into the full person, not just what's shown, but what's hidden. This kind of empathy is rare. It takes time, patience, and emotional strength. And that's why it feels so powerful. When an INFJ reflects someone's inner world back to them, gently, accurately, it can feel like therapy, like healing, like being truly known. And that moment of being deeply seen, without judgment, often leaves people at a loss for words, not because they're confused, but because they're moved. That's the INFJ's quiet power. They make people feel understood, not by analyzing them, but by joining them where they are, emotionally, honestly, fully. Reason number 3, thoughtful, clear communication. INFJs aren't the type to speak without thinking. They weigh words carefully, choosing clarity over speed and depth over surface chatter. When they finally speak, their comments hit the mark because they've already processed what matters most. While casual conversations often flow in shifting directions, INFJ communication has purpose. Every phrase is intentional. They don't talk to hear their own voice. They talk to convey insight, to help others understand a part of life or their own hearts. This focus makes their conversations feel calm and clear. There's no rush, no fluff, just relevance, an understanding that often leaves others pausing to consider more than just the words they heard. This clarity comes from inner processing. INFJs think through meaning before speaking. They let ideas simmer, connect dots, and choose precise language. When they share, it's like a new piece falls into place. If someone is struggling with guilt, the INFJ might say, "Maybe guilt is your heart's way of showing you care, and it doesn't need punishment." Or if someone is searching for purpose, they might say, "What if purpose is simply taking small steps toward what feels right?" Those words aren't random, they're chosen to hit what's floating beneath the surface. They address the question that wasn't asked but needed answering. What amazes others isn't just what INFJs say, it's when they say it. In the quiet moments, when assumptions hang in the air, the INFJ speaks with exactness, clarifying what no one else could. This type of communication doesn't sound impressive from the outside. There's no grand speech or showy logic, but it's memorable. People walk away feeling like a burden was lifted or a new perspective opened up. That precision, paired with timeliness, is why people often stay silent after talking to an INFJ. They're not lost for words. They're absorbing sincerity and resonance. Reason number 4, ability to synthesize complexity. INFJs live in complexity and they bring it into clarity. They can take complicated topics, science, relationships, history, emotion, and distill them so they make sense. They don't skip pieces of the puzzle. Instead, they gather them, connect them, and show you the whole picture with coherence. This ability isn't born from training alone. It comes from deep intuitive pattern recognition. INFJs see how ideas connect across contexts. They know how emotion interacts with logic. They sense the rhythm under the mess. Talk with one about leadership, for example, and you might hear, great leaders aren't always loud. They know how to listen to ideas, to fear, to silence, and then shape a path that others can follow from the heart. It's not an abstract statement. It's distilled wisdom. Emotional intelligence meets systems thinking. It's why people feel like INFJs understand nuances they don't even know exist. The synthesis helps in work, conflict resolution, parenting, counseling, or writing. It connects dots others don't even see, truths that feel obvious once the INFJ names them. It often catches people off guard. In a world where complexity is avoided, INFJs bring clarity, not by oversimplifying, but by honoring depth and speaking it in simple language. This quiet, precise intellect leaves people speechless because it navigates them through confusion and lands them in understanding. Reason number 5, insightful, intuitive predictions. ENFJs often get labeled psychic or deep. Other personalities may see that as mystical, but INFJs know it's pattern recognition and intuition working together. From early on, they sense not just what is, but what could be. They're quietly alert to shifts in energy, tone, or behavior. That gives them an edge in anticipating outcomes, social dynamics, emotional shifts, work pitfalls. They don't rely only on data. They listen to silent signals. This ability shows in relationships. I'm guessing she didn't say that because she felt judged. Or in leadership, there's tension near the end. Watch how the next hour goes. Or in creative work, people will miss this part unless we highlight it. These insights can feel like prophecy to others. The INFJ describes something that hasn't happened yet, happening perfectly. People respond, "How did you know?" It's not special powers. It's an intelligent mind tuned to subtle cues. But that doesn't make it less impactful. INFJ predictions often sound cautious, not bold. Something feels unresolved. Or, I sense a shift coming. But when the shift arrives exactly as they described, silence follows. This foresight isn't about proving accuracy. It's about offering awareness. It gives people space to prepare, to choose rather than just react. What leaves others speechless isn't just knowledge. It's how the INFJ brings unseen truth into view, without flash, but with precision. Reason number 6, quiet wisdom rooted in personal experience. INFJs don't just collect knowledge, they live it. They turn personal experiences into deep insight. Their wisdom comes not from theory, but from living through questions, heartache, transformation, and growth. They're the kind of people who take what happens to them and think about it, long and hard. They journal. They reflect. They ask why something mattered, what it taught them, and how they'll carry it forward. Because of this, when INFJs speak, it's often from a place of lived truth. They don't lecture. They share. They use personal pain to bring clarity to someone else's confusion. This kind of wisdom is disarming. You might be expecting advice, and instead, the INFJ says something like, "I used to feel the same, and I learned that sometimes what we need most is silence." Or, "After everything, I realized I was trying to prove my worth when I already had it." That kind of reflection makes people pause. It's not opinion. It's truth that's been felt, tested, and earned. INFJs also know when not to speak. They don't fill space to be heard. They wait until what they say can support, clarify, or gently shift a mindset. That timing makes their insight even more impactful. Because their wisdom isn't just thoughtful, It's timed. It arrives when it's needed, not when it's easy. This is why people often describe INFJs as wise beyond their years. It's not about knowing everything, it's about understanding themselves and using that understanding to help others see clearer. What leaves others speechless is not just the content of what INFJs say, but the calm confidence behind it. They speak with the quiet energy of someone who's walked through fire, sat with it, and learned how to carry the light that remained. That light doesn't blind. It warms. And that's why it's unforgettable. INFJ intelligence isn't the kind that tries to stand out. It's the kind that walks quietly beside people, helping them feel seen, heard, and understood in ways they didn't expect. It's not loud. It's not flashy. But it is undeniable. Whether it's seeing connections no one else notices, offering words that cut through confusion, or quietly predicting what others don't yet see, INFJs leave a lasting impression. Their intelligence is emotional, intuitive, and deeply personal. And that's exactly why it surprises people. It speaks to something deeper than facts. It speaks to truth. So, if you've ever been left speechless by someone who seemed to know what you needed before you even said it, you may have been in the presence of an INFJ. And if you're an INFJ yourself, know this: your quiet brilliance matters. You don't have to shout to be powerful. You don't have to explain yourself to prove your depth. Just keep being honest, thoughtful, That's what makes your intelligence not only surprising, but unforgettable.